What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics Show. Happy Friday, guys. We are live here on Dsm Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channels. First and foremost, if you guys are watching on Twitter, if you're watching in replay form, we greatly appreciate each and every one of you. But do us a favor, do yourself a favor. If you want to be interactive throughout today's show or any of our shows here on the channel, make sure to head on over to the YouTube page specifically. Smash that subscribe button, like this video, whatever you got to do. Share it to your friends and family. Help us out reaching our goal of our first 200 subs here on the new channel. It is the best spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up on the screen with us. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my left today, you're right, I don't know, my co-host, Scotty. You guys can check him out on Twitter at Scotty Drowned. Team USA plays for gold tomorrow. Joel Embiid, a big part and why they were able to survive Nikola Jokic and Team Serbia yesterday. We're going to talk about that game, Joel Embiid, and everything that went into it. The Phillies, I guess they're okay now, Scotty. I guess they're a good team now. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They finally won the first game of a series in Arizona last night. We're going to talk about this little streak that they're on.
They're looking good in my book, man.
The Eagles, man, first preseason game tonight down in Baltimore. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about training camp, a lot about the new coordinators, Jalen Hurts, and who knows if we're going to see any of the starters tonight, maybe a drive, maybe not. I'm not sure. But we can at least look at the fringes of this depth chart of this roster, some position battles. And we're going to talk about what we're looking for tonight, what we're looking to stand out tonight. But yeah, man, happy Friday. Hunter, what's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Happy Friday. Well said, my man. You let us off very great there. Yeah, I'm on the I don't know if this is always my side. Maybe I'll pay attention to that going forward. Like, am I always on your
No, we rotate.
It's my left. I don't know if it's your left.
But I'll give a shout out to Joe Fugel here, my grandfather. He said he got confused at one point because I always say like what I'm looking at. So like right now, you're to my left, but he said like on his phone, he's like, buddy, why'd you say he's on your left? He's on your right. And I'm like, oh, maybe like it looks that way to you. I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. Maybe we should just stay away from that topic.
Right. Unless that's him. Unless that's just his eyes deceiving him. But that's why I said left or right.
I'm light-skinned. Dylan's white. Just to clarify, Scotty is mixed and Dylan is white. If you don't know who you're looking at.
No, I'm Scotty today. That's Dylan.
But no, man, one thing that you said stuck out to me. We can start wherever you like, but the one thing you said that stuck out to me is how good the Phillies have kind of turned it around here, able to gather a few wins consecutively now. Seems like they're getting back on track. It's good signs right now with the Fightins, which is, even though Eagles season's starting right now, you got Team USA going hard right now. What's most important for Philly is those fighting Phillies, man. They have to keep it up and maintain momentum going into the postseason. So as much fun as we're having elsewhere, still need to lock in and enjoy the Phillies for what they're doing this season. So I loved what you said there. But Team USA, man, that shit was fire yesterday. I enjoyed that somebody actually gave us some competition in basketball, man. That was really fun to watch.
A little too much competition. It was a little too close for comfort.
Had me shaking a little bit.
Herculean effort from some of the greatest of all time to come back against a bunch of guys I've never seen in my life before outside of.
Can't lose to Jokic's squad, man. Can't lose to his country. Like, from a Philadelphia fan specifically, we could not afford that. We could not afford that L yesterday. No. And luckily, as you mentioned, some Hall of Famers decided to save us here in America.
Especially after, like, Sixers fans and Embiid fans are, like, posting when we beat them, like, in the exhibition round. And they were posting, like, Embiid's head-to-head record against Jokic. Oh, now he's 7-1. Like, we post that kind of stuff, and then they turn around and lose in the game to go play for gold. Yeah, that would sting a lot as a Sixers fan. And kind of take a little bit of the excitement, just a little bit of the excitement away from this season, man. But let's start there because that was obviously the Phillies played last night. The Phillies actually played more recently. But let's start with Team USA, man. And I got to throw this out to you. I did not think I would enjoy it this much. I did not think I would care as much about a single game on this road to gold, hopefully, as I did yesterday. And it had a lot to do with like just the game itself, how it played out, the intensity of the game, the emotions from everybody, the crowd, the broadcast, the comeback, the fourth quarter play, the big shots, the defensive intensity in the fourth quarter. Like that game, it was a great, like just basketball game from no matter who was playing. But I truly did not think I would care that much. No, it has nothing to do with me not like having like American pride or I thought they were gonna waltz their way through gold. No one was gonna test them really, etc. That was fucking amazing. Excuse my language. That was incredible, man. And like obviously I put in the title, Joel Embiid helped save Team USA. There were multiple points in this game where Joel Embiid changed the tide of that game.
Yeah.
Okay. When he went out, the lead lengthened against Team USA. When he came in, he made big plays. He was getting to the rim, that N1 late in the fourth quarter, that pull-up midi, that dunk in the first half, right? That really set a tone at some point. Joel Embiid was humongous in this game. But to watch his greatness, wild three best of our generation.
I just got chills, man, honestly. And I don't know.
Outerworldly? Like,
yeah.
Come on, bro.
I just got chills as you were saying it, man, because you're sitting there. It's not just Embiid, but Embiid's our guy. So, like, we get to see him come to the forefront, be the factor that if Embiid's not playing in this game, USA does not win this game. They do not win gold in Paris if Embiid does not suit up for Team USA based on yesterday's game against Serbia, because you throw AD out there and it really shows the difference between AD, Bam, and Embiid. Jokic looks massive compared to AD and Bam. He belittles them.
Yeah.
And that is why you needed Embiid there yesterday for that bully factor, so that Jokic couldn't just bully and do whatever he wanted out there. But then on the other end, making him work on the defensive end, putting him in a blender, making him have to guard was just another factor as well. And you mentioned it, man. Steph obviously had a hell of a game. He was going off the entire game from the three-point line. LeBron, obviously, it was so crazy, man. Like, it made me picture like having LeBron on my team. Like, and then all of a sudden I have like this respect for LeBron that I just never had before, because it was Embiid. I think he got like a 5-point swing in the fourth quarter, and then LeBron just comes down, bro, and just bullies his way to the rim for a layup, bro. And I'm just imagining Embiid having like that player next to him in the NBA in a playoff situation where we're trying to close out a game. And it was just amazing. Then Kevin Durant at the top of the key, just inside the three-point line, closes it out with a mean mid-range jumper. I mean, it's just nasty business, bro, watching this team play. And I think what even gave it even more energy and what, brought the chills out of me, because we got to see these great performances from USA players. But I think the big thing for me was the way the Serbian players were acting. Bogdan Bogdanovic, the way he was talking shit to Melo on the sidelines. And it takes you back, man, because we remember Melo nailing 3 after 3 in gold medal games and shit with Team USA about 5-10 years back, man. I remember that, him leading the USA to gold. And so when you're disrespecting Melo on the sideline, it turned me from like NBA team specific, where Melo was a Knick, Melo was a Nugget, blah, 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 to now it's just America. And these are American players, and I'm holding down America, and I'm rooting for them. And so I love seeing Melo out there talking shit with his son on the sideline. His son is a future USA player that gets to see the intensity of this and see what it means. So all around, man, it was awesome. Like you said, I thought you explained it really well. You gave me chills when you were talking through it. Because this is basketball excellence at this point.
1,000%, man. And I'm going to be honest with you as well. Like you said, just being such a Sixer fan and not really caring about anyone else. I don't like, I'm going to, like I said this to you, I said this on the show before. I'm a Steph Curry fan. I always have been. But outside of Steph, like, and it's not like I root for the Warriors because of Steph. I just like watching Steph. Anybody else, I enjoy watching them play basketball. But like, there's like this pent up, like, aggression toward, like, the Sixers are playing Kevin Durant and him and Embiid are button foreheads at the free throw line in the fourth quarter of a big time matchup. I'm sitting there like, fuck you, like, get, like, you know what I mean? And I did not think I did not think this team would be this likable. I mean, Kevin Durant is going on a massacre right now on social media.
Yeah.
Killing
Yeah.
everybody in sight. You watch
And I'm
Joel
loving
and
it.
Ant out there after the game, the last two on the court, dancing and giving everybody the chop. We know that Joel's here in the booze. We know that French crowd's on him. Anytime he does something, the entire bench stands up and gives it to the crowd, knowing it's because of Joel. Like, I did not think they would be this close and this good. Obviously, I don't want to say good together. Like, when you have that much talent, it's going to work. I just mean from a cohesiveness standpoint, I did not think it was going to work out.
Just guys
like
are taking a step back. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. You're like, guys are taking a step back, like that fourth quarter, bro. And you mentioned LeBron getting to the rack, the KD midi, Joel's midi, the N1, Steph's threes, D-Book's three from the top of the key.
Picking their spots.
You know what it was? It was picking your spots, and it was not settling, and it's doing what each of you do best. LeBron didn't settle for a contested three. KD didn't try to get to the rim, and Joel did. Well, I know Joel hit a couple threes. Joel wasn't settling or doing whatever. They all picked their spots, their moments, got their matchups, or LeBron got out in transition, whatever the case was, and they did what they do best. That freight train at 6'9", 230, whatever he is. I don't even, way more than 230 at this point. Coming down the lane at you, bro. No one's stopping that. No one on Serbia is stopping that.
Yeah.
And when you watch, we talked about that switch that they flipped from the exhibition rounds to now, right? When it matters. And remember how people were concerned. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been concerned yesterday, but they had this switch, and it's almost like they just did it again just towards the end of the game, bro. Like you were down by like 17 or 18 at one point in this game. You were down by double digits in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was getting nervous. Absolutely. I was like, no, man, we can't go out like this. I was getting nervous as we entered the fourth, still down, 11 or 9 going into the fourth, man? Because like you said earlier, as soon as Embiid went out, AD, Bam comes in, the lead would extend back up to 9, 10 points. And so then you get that burst at the beginning of the fourth quarter once Embiid finally – well, it was not at the beginning. It was like a little bit into the fourth quarter. Embiid comes back in. And, you know, man, I'm just looking at the numbers, bro, what it took. You know, you do have to give a little bit of credit. I'm going to shit on Serbia. I'm going to shit on Jokic as much as I can on social media. Don't get me wrong. But I will give them some credit for pulling this out of the United States. I mean, LeBron had a triple-double, 16, 12, and 10. Steph Curry had 36, 8 rebounds, and 9 for 14 from the three-point line. Embiid, 19, 4, and 2. 2 for 3, was 8 for 11 from the field. Like, that's what it took to beat Serbia, and that's what it took from Team USA of just pure greatness to come out of them to win this game, man. It does. I think this is great, man. You know, in a time where our country appears to be so divided, like, you can come together on sports and just watch our team.
And it's always been that way, bro. Yeah.
But overall, we get to go and watch our country dominate. Correct. And I think it brings out that pride that we really need to show at all times, man, in our country.
It absolutely does, bro.
You
but to your point, like what we sit here and talk about each and every morning, it is Philly sports. And to have our guy be a major part of that was the embracing factor, right? Like if Joel Embiid's not on Team USA, if Joel Embiid's not getting those minutes and they're obviously great basketball, legends are playing, whatever, but you felt it more as a Philly fan, especially because all of the backlash that he's gone through for playing from this team, and then not just from other countries.
I know.
American, the United States fans bashing him and going silent when he plays. It really is unbelievable.
That was his moment, man.
Shit he gets, absolutely. And you saw it, bro. You saw Kendrick Perkins was tweeting it out. Bill Simmons went on his podcast. That tone changed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder if Colin Cowherd's going to talk about that game today,
right?
Scotty.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's
Charles Barkley
comparing him and Jokic, right? I wonder if that's going to be a topic today. Probably not. No. He'll back what the asinine comments he made 5 days ago. But it's just having him do that was really special to watch, man.
if you can't accept Joel Embiid as a great player, as a face of the NBA at this point, then you never will after that. Like, that was his moment, man. That was the moment where I sat back and I said, yeah, I was going back and forth as we get closer and closer to the Olympics, as we're playing through the Olympics. Like, should Embiid be playing right now? Right? Like, should he be playing right now with his injury history, with the concerns around the shape that he comes into the season with?
Yeah.
Should he be playing? Yesterday solidified it for me that he should absolutely be playing because they need him, one.
Yeah.
and two, it's this moment that he gets.
He needed this. Yeah, it's not the NBA Finals. It's not an Eastern Conference Finals.
Learning how to
world stage, backs against the wall, right? Like, he didn't have a great game while they cruised by 35 past Serbia.
Right.
He had to shut up and make big shot after big shot, draw an offensive foul against Jokic late in the game. And the thing I loved most about the team, about the game itself, and more importantly, about him, man, taking this away for a Sixer season, that emotion, bro. Like, what do we always talk about with Joel? He's a roller coaster, right? You don't want to see him get too down. You don't want to see that mopey body language. The clip is literally right next to me of Jokic in the third quarter hooking him, and they called the other way. He fucking explodes.
Yeah.
Dude. That's how much this is meaning to him.
And that's
not only for USA
play.
bringing home gold, but he's got to be like, he just wants to shut everyone up.
Yeah, man, that's actually a great point because that play, and I say dirty play, I don't mean it like it was a dirty play by Jokic or Embiid. It's not like that. That's Embiid getting dirty and getting excited about doing the little things, the little winning things, taking a charge, right? Taking an elbow to the back of your head, whatever. That is one way to get ahead of your opponent. And once again, I just think Joel learning how to win, being next to greatness. I think LeBron is one, Steph is one, KD is one. These are guys that have won the big.
What about this as well is another thing from him, right? Like, he's learning to win, to have big moments, to impact the game without having to be the guy, without the weight of the world on his shoulders. That's got to be huge, especially this offseason when you acquire a guy like Paul George. Paul George is not Steph Curry. Paul George is not Kevin Durant. He's not LeBron James, but he's Paul fucking George. And Tyrese Maxey is Tyrese Maxey. So learning just that kind of style of basketball, right? Not having to be the guy all fourth quarter, give me the ball, ISO, back against the basket, banging, and trying to win a game. He's learning to play a different way.
Yeah. To TR's point, to your point, man, why can't Maxey and PG come in and do the same exact ball, run off ball screens with Embiid? Just like Steph Curry's doing. Like, literally, TR says it would break the NBA. Tyrese Maxey, a younger version, maybe not the prolific shooter of all time like Steph, but he's a pretty great three-point shooter at the NBA level.
40+%.
Maybe he can be that guy, right? You see Steph come out with 9 three-pointers yesterday, man.
Right, until dudes start falling on the ground like Serbia was yesterday, and in the NBA rules, they get an offensive foul call every single time. Whoa. Am I still here? You're here. Your screen went a little wonky for a second.
Whoa, man, that was a little wild. I got scared for a second. This monsoon outside isn't helping anything. But no, the last thing I'll say just about Embiid, it kind of feeds into all the points we've already brought up. But what type of pressure as well comes at the end of a game when it is Joel Embiid taking a shot over Kevin Durant, over Steph Curry, over LeBron James. Like, there is nerves and different things that go into just making the decision to do that. Obviously, we know Embiid is a supremely confident dude, but that was the other side of things yesterday as I'm watching in the fourth quarter. Embiid takes some really clutch shots. If he misses those, man, he's going to get ripped. Even with everything else that he's done in this game, he will get ripped. If he misses those and they end up losing the game, man, didn't have to worry about it. He was cold as ice and finished out the game along with the rest of these guys. It's just awesome, man. It's going to help him so much in the regular season.
We call that stones. And that's, again, you bring that up. That can only that only plays it's a benefit come what time?
Playoffs.
Because if you have a 7-point deficit, a 5-point deficit with a chance to go play for gold against the Serbia team. And like you said, you're taking shots over the greatest shooter of all time, who's got 35 points. You're taking shots over a lot of people's GOAT. You're taking shots over maybe the greatest scorer of all time in Kevin Durant, and you knock them down. Yeah, I think you're going to learn a little something about yourself when your back gets against the wall come postseason time, man. But it was very special to watch. Before we move on, I just want to say good luck to France, because they have no fucking shot. Like legitimate, I'm going to tell you right now, a 0.0000% chance of beating the United States for gold. And not only that, even competing in the fourth quarter. There's no way they're going to go through that experience yesterday and not just step on their throat within the first 10 minutes of this game, within the first quarter. There's just no shot.
I think they're going to dog them out.
And it's just going to be, it's just a picture perfect storybook ending. Joel Embiid and Team USA get gold hung around their neck against France, in France, while Joel and Ant give the chop to every single member in the crowd. And it's storybook, man. It really is. It's not like Canada got there. It's not like Germany. It had to be France that got there, and it's going to be.
It had to be.
It's going to be a fun watch, man.
I won't be surprised if Embiid goes off again, man, just because it is France, and maybe they get ahead a little. Maybe they start
70 against a certain player on France last season. He does.
They get a double-digit lead. Maybe they start feeding Embiid. Maybe Embiid ends up with a 25, a 30 ball.
He does cook a certain center that got benched last game on Team France. So
they won't do that because LeBron, he's gonna have to get his gold medal MVP, whatever it's called, for this Olympic tournament. I don't know if they'll be willing to let Embiid grab that, but it'll be fun, man. I'll grab some brews for that. I believe that's tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I think
and really
3 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's 3 p.m. Yeah, so grab some brew and really enjoy that.
Yeah, and
awesome
honestly,
moment for our guy, man, to win something. If he never wins anything here in Philly, at least he got a fucking gold medal for USA.
Seriously, bro. And obviously, that's not our goal personally, but it is
right.
For him, it's not what I would feel good to win something finally and be number one. And again, just about the caring point, like I would not be as locked in to this gold medal game tomorrow as I'm going to be if yesterday doesn't go down the way.
Didn't happen.
Because if they run through Serbia, I'm going to be like, I'm going to watch. Like, it's an awesome moment, but I'm going to sit back with my feet kicked up and go, oh, this doesn't matter. I'm going to enjoy every single bucket they give France tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
likewise, man. Likewise.
That's going to be that, man. But let's move on here. I know you have a hard cut out at 11. We got about 30 minutes left here.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk some fighting, Scotty, because what do you want to go back about 7 days, 1 week ago today?
Yeah, let's take it all the way back.
1 week ago today, they headed out to Seattle for a 10-game West Coast trip. The sky was falling. The ground was crumbling beneath us. They're not a good team anymore. The bullpen's not good enough. Dave Dombrowski didn't do enough at the deadline. Rob Thompson's not a good enough manager. The bats aren't going to get out of this. Yada, yada, yada. 4 of the last 5, 3 straight. The bats are on an absolute fucking tear. Won the season series over the Dodgers 5-1. They're doing this on the backs of the likes of fucking Tyler Phillips and Kobe Allard last night.
Yeah, I saw that last night. Whoa.
Somehow, some way or another, that over-under pushed last night. It was set at 10. I was thinking about laying it. Halfway through the game, bottom of the 5th, it was 1-0. I was like, oh my, thank God I didn't lay this. Somehow it still reached that point because the offenses got going later on in the night.
Yeah.
But this is why I don't even have anything. I'm not even going to sit here and like float. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how well this team's even playing right now. All I want to say to everybody is this is why you can't do what you guys did in a baseball season. You can't fucking compare a 10-game stretch in July to a 6-week collapse in football. They don't equate. They're not the same in any stratosphere. Now, they're playing good baseball again. Oh, well, no. There is no oh, well, or oh, but. This is a great team. Best record in baseball. Best record in the NL. By the way, do you know what their records are against the rest of the NL this year? They have a losing record to the Braves. I think they're 2-4 against Atlanta this season in limited action. But they are kicking everybody else's ass that matters. The Dodgers, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres. Every single other team that matters in the National League, the Phillies have absolutely crushed this season. And while the Phillies are now winning again, the Braves are giving up 16 runs to a Milwaukee Brewers team who the Phillies have beat up on earlier on in this season, as I just mentioned. So let's see. What are we back? My bad, Scotty. What are we back up here? Is it to 8.5 right now, or is it 9? It's 8 to the Mets now. It's 8.5 to the Atlanta Braves.
The Mets jumped ahead of the Braves. Yep.
So when all this was said, the Phillies went into the month of July with an 8 or 8.5 game lead over the Atlanta Braves. They went through all that tragedy, all that disastrous baseball, and they still hold an 8.5 game lead over the Atlanta Braves.
3 games on the Dodgers, and you end this West Coast trip, right? Get through the Diamondbacks, try to win that series. You get through the Diamondbacks, you go home, you play the fucking Marlins, Nationals, and then you get the Braves where you can finish them off, literally. If you win that series, you finish them off. So, yeah, at the end of the day, what did we talk about going into this West Coast series? Coming out even, right? 5-5.
Anything above that was a miracle.
Like anything above that is beautiful when you talk about a 10-game West Coast trip against 3 playoff teams in a sense.
The Diamondbacks are the hottest team in baseball, man. They were 12-2 in their last 14 games.
Yeah, and so obviously you still got work to do. I'm not trying to jump the gun. You got this weekend to get through. These are going to be big games as well. But things are starting to look a little bit brighter than what they were at the beginning of the month.
Scotty, you win one of the final 3, you come back 5-5. One of the final 3.
There you go.
And that was kind of the goal at that point. And again, I don't want to be that person that says, yeah, but like I was calling everybody else out for. But you are a Jeff Hoffman disastrous 6th inning away from beating the Seattle Mariners in Game 2 of that series and winning that series ultimately. And then, obviously, in the extra innings, Carlos Estevez comes in and the ump calls an obvious strike 3 to end an inning, a ball, and then he ends up walking in the winning run. That's how that game ended. So you're all that ridiculous play away from being what right now? 3, 4, 5-2 in 7 games on the West Coast. You're 6-3, or you're 4-2 right now.
Who has impressed you the most from the Titans on the road so far? Who's really in your mind stepped it up and helped them kind of turn the cheek?
So this is a very interesting question. I love this question actually, because oh man, I want to get Kyle Schwarber. I mean, dude, that game
comes to my mind immediately.
Was fucking unbelievable. I mean, 4 for 4, 3 home runs to all different parts of the ballpark, and a 2-run RBI double. Okay, Kyle Schwarber's been on an absolute tear. Bryce Harper had a 3-hit game last night. JT Realmuto, but I'm not going to give you a person. I'm going to give you a group. The starting pitching has been spectacular outside of a bad Aaron Nola start or an iffy Aaron Nola start in LA. And what I mean, specifically the last 3 games on this 3-game winning streak, you had Christopher Sanchez, who obviously was an all-star this year, but you still get you still have some goosebumps when Christopher Sanchez walks out there and faces Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernandez. He goes out there and shoves in a major way when they needed a major win against the Dodgers. Great outing. Tyler Phillips, 1 week ago today in Seattle, massacre.
Got rocked.
Massacre.
Yeah.
Comes out, gives up 4 runs, but battles, keeps the team in the game through 5 innings, only gives up those 4, and they're able to come back and win that game. Last night, dude, I'm telling you right now, there was no way in hell I thought Kobe Allard was giving up. What did he give up? One run last night, I believe. It was a solo home run to Eugenio Suarez, I think.
Yeah, in the 5th inning.
I mean, dude, that is a hell of a fucking outing by him. So that's when you say like who surprised you or those three guys, that group of starters, and obviously Wheeler was great in the last game of Seattle. So in your last 5 games, you've had really good to dominant pitching from your starters outside of an Aaron Nola start. That's humongous. But if you want to talk like exciting, Kyle, holy shit, dude. Did you see his batting average? Like how many points he's brought it up over the last 3 or 4 games?
No.
Dude, he took his batting average from a 246 to a 260 something.
Yeah, 263. I don't know if that's counting last night or not.
He had 2 more hits last night. He's 2 for 4 with a walk.
Right.
Like,
right. And the night before that, he was a monster in that game as well, right? It's been impressive. I do love your point about the pitching, man, because now the other side of that, you talked about Allard, you talked about Tyler Phillips. Well, now you're back to Zach Wheeler tonight.
Right.
And now you get to bring your big horse out, and you hope that he can come out and get a big W tonight. So, yeah, the pitching, I think, is a great point when you obviously see the bats are doing a little bit better now, right, even on that road trip. But they don't do it without the pitching.
Isn't it? Shocking that all this talent knows how to hit a baseball.
It's incredible, though, man. It is incredible. I really need them to finish this out strong in Arizona. Get us 2 more there in Arizona. At the very least, break even. I guess that would be fine, but I would love to see them win that series at least 3-1.
Well, because here's the thing, right? Breaking even at the end of the day is fine, and it was kind of the goal heading out there with how they've been playing. But when you've set yourself up in this position,
you got Wheeler and Nola the next 2 nights.
One of your next 3, or you only win one of your next 3. Now you're coming back home with a missed opportunity, essentially, and you don't want to. You want to continue this train. And honestly, man, I think they do. Like with the way the lineup's playing right now, if you get fine pitching, if you get 4 runs type pitching, you're in a position to win each and every ball game that you're going to play right now. I mean, they're in double-digit hits every night. They're 5, 6, 9, 6. Like it's unbelievable the heater they're on. And like I said, really, really shocking.
How are you? And I'm asking this because obviously not tonight, but tomorrow night we'll see Nola against the Diamondbacks. Obviously, didn't have the greatest outing. Is there any concerns there with Nola? Like, what are your thoughts? We haven't talked about Aaron Nola a lot this season at all, and maybe that's a good thing that we haven't talked about him at all. What are your thoughts on the number 2 this season, man? Obviously, Ranger has kind of escalated himself up there, but Nola is the number 2 in the grand scheme if we really look at things.
Yeah, no, he is the number 2. It's just I think he's just been the same Aaron Nola, maybe slightly better at moments this year that we've had the last 2 to 3 years when we've been trying to compete for a World Series, which you're going to have your highs, right? You're going to have your Atlanta Braves starts where he pitches 6 innings, 1 run type of baseball with 8 Ks and walks off to a standing ovation at Citizens Bank Park. Or you're going to have your Arizona Diamondbacks on the road, your San Diego Padres on the road type of starts where he gives up 4 runs in the 4th inning and he can't strike batters out in 0-2, 1-2 counts, can't put anyone away and becomes rocky. That's exactly what he did against the Dodgers the other night. The team fights back, the lead slips a little bit more, and it's frustrating, right? But you absolutely need a good start out of Aaron Nola tomorrow. Like that's the bottom line because Scotty, man, when you have it's the same thing as the bats, right? Like when the big dogs are slumping, when Bryce is in a slump, when Trey's in a slump, etc. But you have Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott or Edmundo Sosa stepping in and hitting a 3-run home run and winning you a ball game or going 3 for 4 with multiple RBIs. Yeah. At a certain point, like what do we say? Okay, well now the big guys need to step up, right? Well. Yeah. If Christopher Sanchez can pitch against the Dodgers like that, if Tyler Phillips and Kobe Allard can go out and do what they did and win you ball games,
the W's. Yeah.
It's time for Aaron Nola to pitch
a
gem.
He can't cost you on this road trip again. Right. Like he can't cost you twice on this road trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why Tonight, obviously every night's important and you want to win as many games as you can right now and continue to build this lead. But tonight's really important with Wheeler on the mound, man, because then you go to, let's just say, knock on wood, they were to lose this game. Okay, now we have 2 games to win 1 to come back 500. Well, that now it's up to Nola at that point, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit more pressure. Tonight's a huge night where you do this, you win 1 of the next 2, you come back 6-4, you win 3 or 4 in Arizona, and maybe it gives Nola the breathing room to go out and do what he needs to do.
Have a great performance.
Yeah.
Keep the it's not real pressure, but keep the pressure off of him, I guess you could say, when it comes to this road trip.
Yeah. The last thing about this team,
man, because I feel like it's been, I don't know, we just haven't talked about Aaron Nola a lot this season, which
can be a good thing, but that's not necessarily
ups and downs.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because if we're talking a lot about Aaron Nola, that might mean a lot of issues come Aaron Nola starts. But, whatever. The last thing I did want to mention before we talk Eagles preseason game 1 tonight, it's not, Scotty, that they're just winning games. It's not that the bats are going well and the last 3 games, the starting pitching has been pretty good, whatever we just talked about.
Yeah.
This team's fire is back. They were losing games. They were blowing leads. They were getting off the sluggish starts. The pitching was bad. The bullpen was leaking. The bats sucked, everything, but they looked lifeless. They had, just no fire lit underneath them. And something happened in LA in that last game while Kyle Schwarber was absolutely ripping balls into the night. Nick Castellanos gets hit in the hand. Nick gets hit in the hand. And he has some words, right? The very next inning, Matt Strahm says, "I don't give a fuck," and nails Gavin Lux with 96 right in the back. Fuck yeah. Like that's fire, bro. This team's swagger is back. Their toughness is back. Like you're getting your shit kicked in if you're the Dodgers. And you're going to run 97 up towards Castellanos and hit him in the hands. Not saying he did it on purpose. I'm just saying that's the scare. Bryce broke his hand 2 years ago when we were going on a run. Nick's been incredibly hot. I think he was 3 for 3 with 2 doubles that night, whatever. You hit him in the hand. That could be a very dangerous type of situation, whether it's on purpose or not. Your next guy is getting plunked. And you don't see that a lot in baseball anymore. And I am kind of shocked. Nothing more escalated. I'm kind of shocked the umpire didn't really give too much of an issue about it. But when I saw that, man, I said, okay, this team's going on a fucking tear now. And their confidence is all the way back. Yes, they're not a good enough team to do it all. They're not a good enough team with this bullpen and
my bad.
And these lineups. So you're good. No, we always hit at the same time.
I'm just excited to see you here again. That's all.
Yeah. Get missed all the Joel talk.
I agree with everything you said, man, and I think I said it a couple times there, but I think just the level of competition when you see the Dodgers on the other side, on the other side of the pitch from you, it's going to give you an extra level of fuel and competitive spirit. And maybe what we saw there, between going into the All-Star break, coming out of the All-Star break, they were just bored, man. They had the best record in baseball. Like they're soaring. Like maybe they did lose the intensity for about 2 to 3 weeks and fell asleep a little bit. But luckily, guess what? They put themselves in position to where they could do that and still come out and still be right at the top of the league.
Right.
So
and by the way,
that's what you get for being the best. Like I don't know what to say about it, man. It's kind of like
the best and having the best record in baseball. Hear me out. Kind of just happens to everybody over the course of the season.
162 game season.
Like I said it to you the morning we first got on here and talked about the panic. And for a second, these people made me wish we were just a slightly above 500, 5th or 6th slot in the NL wild card type of team with lesser expectations in the regular season. And wish every night didn't matter because they don't know how to act, dude. They really forgot how to act. And it wasn't just Twitter accounts with player avies, with 13-year-old kids. We have no idea who we're talking to. No, it was people on the radio. It was other content creators. Yeah. It was major, smart, educated Philly fans were in a full-blown panic attack over what was happening and coming out with these crazy ass statements about this team not being good enough to compete anymore. And now I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen anything from any of them. I haven't seen any posts on social media from these radio heads. I haven't seen nothing. And it's like, oh, like gave me a little like flashback to Joel Embiid. Just gave me a little, you wouldn't even know the Phillies played today because the city isn't burning down anymore.
Yeah. Quiet, right? It is interesting because you should come back as loud as you were when they had a little bit of a funk. Right. You should come back as loud and say we're back, like let them know. Some of us never thought they were gone, but you did, not you, but people out there. So just acknowledge it, man. But it's all right, man. Maybe we're just in that, August. It's getting, later in the baseball season, but not yet September, approaching October. We're in like that middling. We've had the Olympics to take attention away in a sense. But it is interesting because people were awfully loud when they were, stinking it up a little bit. But the Phillies, man, let's go.
I do, man. I want to talk about it, but we only have like 10 minutes
on the wagon
with Scotty. You're watching on YouTube. Yeah, you're commenting from YouTube. Duh. Just hit that rewind button. It's the first thing we talked about, so just hit that for us because I don't want
to. It's a fun combo. Yeah,
it's a great combo. You want to see Glaze? Go watch. You get a couple Glazed donuts, okay?
We glazed up in here.
This is the new thing for sports talk radio right now. Sirianni and Jalen's relationship. And look, to be fair to them, it's not like there's not anything to it. It's not like it's not there. Right. Like there was obviously, some issues last year and miscommunication, and maybe they don't get along the best, and they're not, what we. They're not Nick Foles and Doug Peterson, like just best friends, the nicest dudes ever to each other, whatever. But it's just, again, blown so far out of proportion. Yeah. And we do have a preseason game to get into tonight, man. I haven't seen any tweets or any posts. What's he talking about?
He's just saying like what you're talking about, like body language, like observing body language between Jalen, I'm assuming, and Nick Sirianni. I got a meeting, Marshawn. I got a meeting at 11, so I gotta bounce after this. But no, it is interesting, and you see the video of Jalen riding in the golf cart with Sirianni, smiling. I don't know if you saw that on social media, but I think that was like kind of a big middle finger to the media, just saying like back the hell off. It's just weird to me, I guess. Like I get it, that was last season. There is some truth to it from last season at the end with that collapse.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. That's dedication right there. I hope you're gathering everything from your meeting as well. But looking back, obviously it's fair conversation. It's just not the time for it, right? It's the timing. Like that conversation was to be had in the offseason when we're discussing whether or not they should bring back Nick Sirianni as the head coach.
Right.
Should they go out into the offseason and try to get a new head coach?
And I like Tim McManus. From everything I've seen, I listened to him on the radio, talk, like whatever. Why is it being released now? Like you've been sitting on this report of the Wink Martindale phone call, these stories. You've been sitting on this for months now. Like you didn't just find out about the Wink phone call last week. Like you knew about this. So why right now? Again, it's their job. It's exactly what he wanted. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's reading it. So congrats to him, right? Like that's his ultimate goal. But it does frustrate the regular fan. Right, it does frustrate the and this is what we're gonna do right here when it comes to the two big markets, when it comes to the two big stations in this city, Scotty. We're gonna corner the market this year, right? What did we say a couple weeks ago? The positivity train moves forward on the Phaithful Phanatics, and that's what we're gonna do. If things are going well with the Eagles, we're gonna be pushing that. We're not gonna be looking at a Phillies slump. When things are going well with the Phillies, we're not gonna be honing in on Jalen Hurts having a bad week. Obviously, we're gonna talk about those things. But the narratives aren't going to be pushed that these are major issues. First of all, I'm not going to lie to you, and I don't even watch it anymore. I thought this dude was talking about WWE for a second before I realized he's talking about Big Dom. I really did. I thought he was talking about fucking Dominic Mysterio. Swear to God. Oh, he said Big Dom. Duh. Never mind. Now I see. I just saw Dom.
No, it's funny though.
But yeah, man, we got a couple minutes left. Tonight's
Whoever
game.
stays with the Eagles keeps custody. By the way, that's if it's Jalen. I doubt Jalen gets sent out. It'd be Sirianni first. So Jalen
No,
will
yeah,
keep
there's zero
custody.
chance Jalen's going anywhere. Tonight's game, no idea if we're seeing starters, but we do know, we would assume, right, that we are going to see players we hope to see on the field come week 1.
Should we see starters, in your opinion?
I think, yeah. I think what we said the other day, right? I think I would play my starters a drive tonight.
Yeah.
I know you had said, if they go 3 and out, if they went 3 and out, I still think I'd call it a night. I'm not going to risk anything just to try to pick up another for now.
Yeah.
I would play my starters one drive. Game 2, week 2 of the preseason, I'd play them maybe 2 or 3 drives, depending how many opportunities you get in the first quarter at max, right? And then I would not play them in week 3. But this is the point I'm looking at. Not even like starters. I don't know if you see a Darius Slay tonight. I don't know who you're going to see. But you're Isaiah Rodgers, Quinyon Mitchell. Those types, the depth at cornerback, the safeties, the linebackers we're looking into. You're going to see a lot of those guys tonight because that's where you're going to get battles. Wide receiver 3, you're going to see, I would assume you're going to see a Paris Campbell. You're going to see a John Ross. You're going to see a Johnny Wilson, right? So you are going to get running backs. You're probably going to get Kenny Gainwell and Will Shipley, right? So
we'll get some Kenny Pickett. He is a former starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It would be interesting to see, like, can he be a quality backup, man? But yeah, I think that's a great point. We don't need to put like guys that we know are going to be starting out there for longer than a series. I think that's fair. And I think it's more focused on the defense, kind of like what Marshawn said there. Just because you do have guys that
man, like
need
obviously
to get that experience.
You want to see Jalen trot out. Like, you want to see that first glimpse
get that feeling.
Eagles
that
football
energy
back. But it depends, right? Like, Juergens and Dickerson have missed time this summer in training camp. Lane, so it depends who's playing up front, because I'm not throwing Jalen and company out there if I'm missing 2 or 3 of my offensive linemen. Like, I'm not, and they're playing with backups. I'm not doing.
You think Saquon gets a carry tonight at all? Like, do you think there's a chance?
If they start. If they start, he's going to obviously touch the ball, but yeah, I think it all comes down to how healthy the offensive line is. If they say, if it's Juergens and Dickerson and Mailata and Lane, I think the starters will get a play. But if they go, Dickerson can't play and Juergens isn't playing, there's no shot in hell I'm throwing Jalen under center even for 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah, and I think to that point, man, because I'm kind of okay with just not even putting Lane out there. So if that is the case, like, he is your right side, tackle. He is your security guard there, along with Mailata. I might not even put Jalen out there. The more I think about it, you know what I mean? If they do, I'm not going to be like angry at either way what they do with it, because I think there's benefits and detractors to both sides. But the more I think about it, it's like Jalen's going to be the starter. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real reason to throw him out there, but it is good to just get that energy. Maybe one series would be good for him. Get Lane, Jalen, those guys out there. But yeah, I think to your point about the defense and specifically the DBs, I would love to see all of those guys outside of CGJ really get some good quality time. CGJ and Darius Slay.
That is one guy I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're seeing Slay.
I don't need to see him.
And actually, CGJ hasn't practiced the last couple of
so
days,
he probably won't go.
No.
What about Sidney Brown? Is he like back from injury, or is he still working himself back?
I don't think so. I think he's doing like off to the side type of stuff. Conditioning type stuff.
Cooper DeJean.
But
Quinyon Mitchell, Keely Ringo, and Isaiah Rodgers, those guys should get ample time, in my opinion. Well, it's a give or take with Isaiah Rodgers. He hasn't played football in like a full season, which turns into basically 2 years, right? 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So like, he probably should get some ample run out there, but do you do it in week 1 of the preseason? I don't know. It's kind of backwards.
Week 2. No, I agree with you, bro. It's a tricky thing to operate, and it's, we always think we're smarter than the coaches and the coordinators, and we can do this job very easily. That is the one thing I'm glad I can never be tasked with, is deciding, and thank God not having a fluke happen on my watch.
Bryce Huff, man.
Yeah.
Do we
You think
see
so?
him?
You think
I
so?
don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea what to expect. Now, obviously, we do this in the morning, so we're not really going to see any reports about the 7:30 game. But I would imagine mid to late afternoon, you might get a couple tweets from beat writers that have spoken or have sources that the starters are going to get a go at it or whatever. Um, so we'll see.
The
Nonetheless,
good
man.
thing we do have like some quality guys that are right there, and you've kind of hit the
Yeah,
nail on them on a few of them so far. But I'm even looking at like the Will Shipleys, like to see what he
yeah.
has on the NFL level.
You mean my running
Um,
back too?
yeah, running RB2, man. Like, what's he got? What does he look like compared to Kenneth Gainwell? Like, I'm interested in like the size difference. Like, is Gainwell
Yeah,
much bigger than Shipley, or what does that look like?
yeah,
Already said Kenny Pickett. Any of the rookie wide receivers that we brought in, specifically Johnny Wilson, the guy that has
yep.
been standing out a little bit more. Grant Calcaterra, who's fighting for that tight end 2 spot. Like, what does he look like? We know Goddard has had injury concerns in the past. Like, we do need to see what that tight end 2 looks like.
Right.
Um, the offensive line, it'll be a little tricky seeing who's performing well there for us, I would say, watching it from the
Right.
TV.
Right.
But
If it's Tyler Steen and Mekhi Becton, it's going to be a little difficult,
Nolan
playing
Smith,
against
does
third
he get
stringers.
some ample run
Yeah.
tonight?
A guy like Jalix Hunt, right? N'Kobe
Alex
Dean, you
Hunt,
would imagine, is going to get
get some
playing time
reps.
tonight. So yeah, you're going to see meaningful players. You're going to see guys that we're hopeful that have an impact on the team come week one. You just might not see the guys.
Devin White
What we're
probably
looking for.
won't play, right?
I
Like,
would
he's a
say
guy that
no. Too
wouldn't
much of
play.
a veteran, been around the block a couple times,
The
doesn't
Trotter
really
Jr.
need. Yeah, Jeremiah Axman Jr. should get is going to get run tonight,
What
man.
about
But
James Bradbury? You think he gets some PT tonight? See what's left in that tank.
ooh, I mean, where he's at slotted on the depth chart, you'd have to imagine so,
He
right?
has to, right?
Especially if he is transitioning to safety, you have to
It'd
get
be
him
good
game
for him.
reps. And again, like you said, it could come week 2, and the preseason maybe you don't do it today. But yeah, that is a guy that you could definitely see back there, especially if CGJ and maybe a Reed Blankenship don't really play.
Yeah,
So yeah, potentially,
there's
man.
some
But
fun stuff to look for tonight,
yeah,
man. I think we have an interesting team, a deep team is what I'm looking at right now, which is what makes it interesting. We got guys in multiple spots that I am intrigued by, man.
yeah.
It's a little more exciting than the past almost. Like, I don't know if I've been this excited to see some of these
I agree.
guys.
No,
Usually,
I agree with you, bro. And I know we've gone through this to wrap up. I know we've said this the year that they went to the Super Bowl, at the AJ Brown season, the Hassan Reddick off season.
yeah,
Like, that was a great off season by Howie Roseman, right? And then last year you drafted Jalen Carter, you drafted Nolan Smith, you've added some pieces. We thought that roster was just as good. I'm looking at this Eagles team. Defensively, up front, you're not as talented on paper as you were. On the
yeah,
back end, you're more talented than you were. And
yeah.
offensively, when you add a football player like Saquon Barkley to your offense,
Mm.
big things are to come. So yeah, I'm super excited. You know where my expectation level is right now, man. But that's gonna wrap it up for this Friday edition of the Faithful Fanatic Show, guys. Don't forget, if you are watching on Twitter, if you're watching in replay form, do us a favor, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Get us to our first 200 subs here on the newer channel. If you need any preseason bets, come to your guy. 3-0 on total so far to start the preseason. I'm a
Hell
degenerate. Come my way.
I will tonight for
I will.
sure.
Yeah. And then I'm going to give you 2 picks, and I'm going to go for 2 tonight. And you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He knows nothing.
Nah, man, you're hot. Be
Yeah, I'm
confident.
on a roll. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll be talking to you very soon.